Welcome to another movie review. And I did this movie some while back at the beginning of my career as a creator of videos on YouTube. But back in the old days, I was camera shy. And so I'm now actually going to do a review of a movie called Blackboard Jungle, which was released in 1955 in camera. Now, whether it will be better or worse is really down to the viewers. Seeing as my viewers' count on YouTube is shocking due to the fact that I tend to get censored for my political views, I wonder how they'll view this movie. Anyway, as I say, released in 1959, it's called Blackboard Jungle, directed by Richard Brooks, who's also responsible for the screenplay. And the screenplay was based on a novel by Evan Hunter. There will be a slide, of course. The lead characters in this movie are Glenn Ford, who plays Richard Dadier. He's a teacher, a new teacher to the task of educating youngsters. Sidney Poitier is one of those teenagers in a very, very early role, and he plays Miller, Gregory Miller. And then we have Vic Morrow, who plays Artie West, and he's part of a sort of gang in the school. And other teachers note Louis Calhoun, who's a senior teacher at this urban school, and also note his Daddy's wife, Anne, played by Irene Francis. As I say, there will be a slide, so I won't go on in any depth about this. The movie was very successful. It was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Writing, Best Writing and Screenplay by Brooks. Also, Best Cinematography. The film was in black and white, and Art Direction. And it also got a nomination for film editing. Nothing for the acting. I think they must have, for some reason, gone with a more sort of sedate style of movie because it certainly deserved um, some rewards in that department. So now to my comments on the film, and then I'll refer to a review that I read about this movie, and then, of course, for those watching from Rumble, we have selected a fantastic scene, which will be in the description for YouTube viewers. But the scene fully illustrates, I think, what was going on in this tremendous movie. So, as I say, the school is set in a very urban environment. It's 1955, and the students that attend are all male, and they have some history. They are regarded as rather delinquent, having a number of social problems, and basically this school is their last chance. Their other schools won't accept them at all. Now, Gardadio is fresh out of learning, and he's raring to go in his first post. And he gets the job fairly quickly after interview, and we see him as he arrives on his first day, walks in through the gates, and of course, there's a number of students hanging around giving him the eyeball as he comes through the gates. And we can see clearly that these young men um, see him as their next victim. They've got a reputation for making life quite difficult for a number of teachers that pass through the gate, and they make this clear as he walks along. He gets the odd jeer. Now, Daddy A, is fully committed to teaching, and has got the ideology that he wants to leave no child left behind. So you can see that the potential problems that are going to emerge. Daddy soon finds out from his work colleagues that they have a really a different sort of idea of what their day's work is about, and they're committed to management and control, and learning. Well, learning is basically on the back burner. They just want to survive the day and get their check. So he immediately falls foul of the head after his first day, because he starts to try and engage the youngsters in the issue about racial acceptance. Unfortunately, it backfires on him because one of the pupils, we suspect might be Miller, has had a grouch about the new teacher, and a complaint has headed back to the school, an anonymous complaint. And so this is, of course, what the head wants to avoid. So a fantastic scene involving Calhoun and Daddy, played by Glenn Ford, of course, which is worth seeing early on. We then start to go beyond this and have a look at the classroom and look at the individuals within that classroom. There's another pretty incredible scene involving a young guy who's clearly not very socially skilled, and he is invited to contribute to Adadia's new style teaching methods, involving sort of introducing yourself using a reel-to-reel tape recorder. This not really had been seen by any other teacher there. Of course, these pupils uh, had the choice about either attending this school after being thrown out of others, or they could be put on a list for forced conscription to go to a Korea. The Korean War was alive and well in 1955, and so they grudgingly decided to go to school, and they certainly weren't motivated to learn. And this Daddio finds out really very early on. Um, as I say, we then first get our glimpse of Miller, and his character is immediately engaging. He's a very intelligent, very socially skilled, and also very provocative. And this sets us on a course whereby he as one of the lead characters becomes constantly in our gaze. I mentioned earlier, the film was viewed by the establishment as somewhat controversial and also violent. And this wasn't really viewed very positively, and they really didn't want it seen overseas. And I'll mention that again briefly later. The reality of the so called greatest country on earth providing this type of education to these male students who clearly weren't going to get any benefit from it. Well, it wasn't thought to be a very good advertisement for the American school system. And so there's also worth noting there's a tremendous jazz score to this movie, and in the clip that I'm going to show you, you will see why. The score is by one Duke Ellington. Yeah, the Duke. Just a brief referral to a few of the scenes. I mentioned about Daddy using audio to build self-confidence for the students. And as I say, the scene involving this young Latino is very worth watching. Daddio focusing on racial tolerance because there appears to be a complete lack of it. Um, and he refers to using cartoons, but I didn't see any cartoons in my copy. Um, of course, discipline and being reprimanded by the head, I referred to earlier, for as this rocked the boat, is certainly a scene I recommend. And then, of course, the confrontations between Dadier and Miller are highlights amongst this film. Now I'll refer to the review. Just want to refer to this review that I read. It's probably more detailed than mine, but then these people were professionals. I'm doing this more as a hobby. But anyway, let's inform you anyway. It was a shocking movie at the time and was said to provoke violence. And when Claire uh, Booth Luce, then American ambassador to Italy, protested its showing at the Venice Film Festival, its international fame was assured. The subject, contempt for authority in a metropolitan trade film, is treated as a problem with a definite solution. Surrounded by hostile and delinquent boys, the hero, an idealistic teacher, played by Glenn Ford, tries to reach the salvageable one amongst them, Sidney Poitier, who gives an angry, exciting performance. He makes you feel his tensions and heat. The director, Richard Brooks, wrote the script adapted from Evan Hunter's novel, and it's sane and well worked out, though it's hard for audiences to believe in the hero's courage, and not hard at all for them to believe in the apathetic cowardice of the other teachers. If you excavate Even Hunter's short story on which the rather shoddy novel was based, it's no big surprise to find that in the original account, to break the wall, the teacher did not break through. Once again, a daring Hollywood movie exposes social tensions, touches a nerve, and then pours on the sweet nothings. But along the melodramatic way, there are some startling episodes. One first bit of racial interchange, and recordings by Bix Beiderbecke, Stan Kenton, and Bill Holman in the soundtrack. The music behind the opening titles, of course, is a highlight as well. Bill Haley and the Comets on Rock Around the Clock really made people sit up. Glenn Ford seethes all the time, but he's fairly competent. And with Louis Calhoun, who's always fun to watch, the movie is certainly worth a look. So, as I mentioned, there will be a scene for Rumble viewers, and the link to that scene will be in the description for YouTube viewers. I think this is a brilliant movie. It was one of my standout movies for that year, and I think this review doesn't do it good service. I have to say that seeing a youthful Poitier start his career with this made it awfully clear what a brilliant actor he was going to become. Glenn Ford also delivers a solid performance, and as I say, I really think you ought to watch it. I love these sort of social conscience type movies, so perhaps I'm slightly biased. Anyway, that completes my review then for this 1955 movie, Blackboard Jungle, and it was directed by Richard Brooks.